Has your hoopty been heisted, your beater boosted, your pickup pilfered, or your whip made off with? Hopefully not. That's what we're going to talk about today, how to prevent that from happening. Welcome to Hoss Pfeffer Garage.
Safety alert. Safety alert.
Now folks, there is no shortage of anti-theft devices out there. You got everything from your steering wheel strap-ons to your high-dollar alarm systems to your GPS tracking gadgets and all the doodaddies and widgets you could possibly think of out there. Well, we're just going to focus on something simple. Just a kill switch. Just a small little switch that can hopefully deter a would-be thief from making off with your wheels. As far as how to wire in the kill switch, there's varying thoughts. Some folks like the ignition side of it. Some folks like the fuel side of it. I prefer the starting side of it. That way, it's probable that the wiring at some point may have issues. I don't necessarily want that to interrupt my ignition or fuel as I'm high velocitizing down the freeway, or I'm trying to pull out into traffic and the vehicle dies or something like that. I want it to, if it's going to fail, I want it to be in as a controlled environment as possible. So if I get up in the morning and I get in OG73 and I go to start him and my wiring fails, I'm in my shop, I'm in my driveway, I'm in a parking lot, something like that. So the way that we've chosen to install our kill switch on OG73 is obviously in the starting circuit. Also, we had the clutch switch go out, which provided an opportunity for us to utilize that as a means of a kill switch. So basically, on manual transmissions, the newer ones, the clutch has to be depressed in order to start the vehicle.
Safety alert. Safety alert.
This is a safety alert concerning the installation of a kill switch using the depressed clutch switch in a manual transmission vehicle. Installing a kill switch in this manner will allow the vehicle to be started in gear. This poses major safety concerns for those that may forget to try to start the vehicle and run over pedestrians, cats, dogs, garages, etc. So, with that in mind, proceed at your own risk. This concludes today's safety message. You may also want to install a couple of different switches in different, maybe one fuel, one ignition, or one start, one ignition, something like that. Now, OG73 being a manual, we've learned that less than 20% know how to drive a manual in the first place. So he's already got a built-in theft deterrent system. So yeah, I mean, he's like already, over 80% less likely to be stolen. Although we don't really know how many car thieves can drive a manual. So of that 20%, how many are car thieves? And what percentage of the car thieves know how to drive a manual? Is it higher or lower? If you're a car thief out there, why don't you leave a comment down there in the bottom on whether or not you know how to drive a manual. That'll help the rest of us figure out what kind of risk we're talking about. So once you've decided how you want to interrupt your circuitry, you'll want to decide where. So whether it's under the hood, in a fuse block, in line with the wiring, whatever. After that, you're going to want to decide where you want to put your switch. Well, obviously there's no shortage of options there either. Some folks will do like hidden switches in the console, the glove box, under the dash, in the fender wells, under the hood, wherever you think it's less likely for someone to find that switch. Now, obviously, you don't necessarily want to put it in a spot where you get out of your truck, and if you're being watched, someone watches you walk by and flip a switch or something like that. Obviously, that kind of defeats the purpose of it being hidden. So you want to be cognizant of that as well. Cognizant. That's a big word. Do I know what that means? Yeah. Huh. Yeah, I think I do. Anyway, so you're going to want to be aware of that. Then you're just going to have to, run your wiring, try to make it as inconspicuous as possible, and then, in a place that you can use comfortably. You don't want to make it so difficult that it's a pain in the butt to flip your kill switch when you need to. So ideally it's in a spot that is close to you in the driver's seat, that you can just kind of reach around without being too obvious and flip a switch, and no one's the wiser. You'll use it a lot more, and which is what it's going to require for it to be effective. So you're going to want to decide where you want to install your switch. So you can do something like glove box, something inside here. You can do console. You've got an ashtray or something. Something that is not obvious to the car thief. A lot of studies show that any kind of hurdle can potentially cause the car thief to just move on to an easier target. Now, if you have something that's highly desirable and they've been watching you for a while and they know somewhat what they're looking at, it may not deter them. They can pull up on a flatbed or a tow truck and latch onto it and drag it off, and it doesn't matter what you have. The only thing, if you have like a GPS system that can help locate the vehicle, but a lot of times the good ones know how to defeat that stuff too. So at the end of the day, if they're skilled enough and they want it bad enough, there's not a whole lot you can do about it. But for something like OG73, I don't have full coverage on him. He's paid off. Full coverage really isn't worth it to me. So if he gets stolen, I'm just out. If you have a vehicle like that, that's perfect for a kill switch. You're not investing, hundreds or thousands of dollars on an alarm system for something that really isn't that valuable monetarily, but can be valuable to you if you have to replace it, right? So that's the biggest benefit to a kill switch. Statistics show that any type of hurdle can potentially cause a car thief to move on to an easier target. Now, with that said, probably 90% of statistics are only about 50% right. So, there's that. Okay, so I think we've determined where we want to mount OG73's kill switch. We're not going to disclose that for operational security purposes, because one of the handful of people that might actually be watching Hoss and Pfeffer Garage, one of them just might be a car thief. So I don't want to let him know where OG's kill switch is. So we're going to just keep that to ourselves. Alright folks, so this is what we have to get our install done. We obviously have our drill with our step bit. We're going to decide what type of switch we want to use. We may even install a couple of them in different locations just to have a backup and make it a little more difficult. We've got our wire options here. You can do the black and red, which is probably the right way to do it. We've even got some speaker wire here. The nice thing about it is it's already got the two wires stuck together. And then we've got, you know, everybody should have their stash of miscellaneous switches, wires, plugs, all of that kind of stuff. So here at Hoss and Pfeffer Garage, we spare no expense when being cheap. So we're probably just going to use this this little bit of speaker wire that we've got from a former project. We've got our pliers here, electrical pliers. We've got some heat shrink connections. We want to make sure that this whatever connections we make are as good as they can be. You can even go so far as to install some plugs if you want to be real sporty about it. And then we've obviously got our heat gun here for our heat shrink connections and things like that. So we've got some wire loom coming as well. That's going to help make everything look the same, so a would-be thief, you know, if they did get nosy and start poking around under there, it's not obvious what wiring is what. So let's get going. So this is the wiring that was to our clutch switch. We have removed the plug, and I just kind of wired up a quick little thing here to perform proof of concept, and it works. So we're gonna do a more permanent install now. Like I said, we have essentially lopped off our connection to our switch because we're not going to use it. Now, it would be entirely possible if you wanted to splice in with your switch so that you're essentially deactivating the switch. However, as previously noted, proceed with caution. But since we have lopped off our connection, we're going to splice in here and install our switch elsewhere in the vehicle. Alright then, we got our switch installed. Now for the final test. So we have it in the off position, so he shouldn't start. Alright, now we have it in the on position, so we should start. Fingers crossed. Winner, chicken dinner. Alright, so we got our kill switch installed in OG73. Wasn't too bad. In the manner that we chose to hook it up. You will have to figure out which way you want to, what works best for you, for your vehicle, or if a kill switch is even the route that you want to take. If you've got something a little nicer, something a little more expensive, something you want to have the opportunity to possibly recover if in the event that it does get thefted, you might want to go some of the other routes that we talked about. Otherwise, that'll do it for now. Please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you next time.